Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who's made out of plastic. It's Frank. How are you today?
Hello. I feel constrained by my 4 points of articulation.
4 points of articulation? Oh my gosh. What year were you made? They're up to like 22 points of articulation now.
Spiritually, I was made in 1955, but I was actually manufactured in 1989, if you must know.
And that would be the 4 points of articulation you were speaking of.
That's it, yeah.
I would also accept the fact that you're in your 30s and can't move more than the 4 points of articulation yourself.
Also that.
Yeah.
Also that, because I now carry a 15-pound baby around all the time.
I'm sorry, my back doesn't twist. It just is what it is.
No.
My arm only moves up and down. It can't move to the side.
Nope.
So
and
I do have
the elbow.
I do have some pretty sweet karate chop action though when you squeeze my leg.
Oh, it's a combat Carl.
Oh, the combat Carl. You had the inflection like right there. That was wonderful. Frank, what are you drinking today?
Today I am enjoying a local beer from the Stroneface Brewing Company of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Right down the road a piece from me, and I'm enjoying their Sidekick Helles Lager, which
you were going to open at this very moment.
Lager-tastic. This is a much lighter lager. In fact, it says it is called their Helles Lager, but then on the back where it says, what that the style is a lager, but on the back where it says what is the featured malt, and it is a Munich Pilsner malt. So kind of blurring the lines between a Pilsner and a lager. But
I can get behind that blur though.
It's a good blur. Let me tell you, it is.
Is it red and blue?
Delightful.
Is it a red-blue blur or just
a
regular
reference
blur?
Acknowledged. It is a good blur. It is a small. You're wearing your Smallville sweatshirt. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Sidekick Helles Lager. It is a malty, Pilsner-esque, refreshing brew that I truly enjoy. I enjoy it on tap, and I enjoy it in the can.
Nice, very nice. I appreciate that, Frank. I alluded to the fact that you were made of plastic, which is not true. You're actually
whoa. What are you drinking?
Oh,
Don't try to sidestep the tough questions.
Sorry, tough questions confirmed. I am drinking an Astral Blanco Tequila. Actually,
whoa.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. So
Astral Blanco Tequila.
So this is excellent. I like excellent tequila. I highly recommend Astral Tequila Blanco. Hecho en Mexico. Made in Mexico. My great aunt passed away several weeks ago by the time of recording this podcast. She lived in California. I appreciate your condolences. She was in her 90s. And so she lived a long life. She was a wonderful lady. And that my father flew out for the funeral. And the tradition on part of her side of the family was to toast her life with tequila. And so my sister and I, my dad is texting us, my sister and I, and my sister texts like, "Hey, I have tequila. I'll toast to her too." And so I was like, "Do I have tequila?" And I looked in my medicine cabinet, and lo and behold,
what you call it?
No, I looked in the liquor cabinet, and lo and behold, I had Astral Tequila. And I was like, I didn't even know that I had this. Where did this come from? I think it was at somebody's house, and they didn't we were at a party, and they were like, I'm not a tequila drinker. You take it home, you have the rest, whatever. And so yeah, and it's great. I love tequila. To be clear, I'm not just drinking it to drink it. It reignited my love of tequila. You have your gin, you have your tequila, and those are my two go-to hards. But I'll drink them straight. I don't need anything with them. It would be nice if there is something, but I think it's just wonderful the way that it is. So yeah.
Sure.
So that's what I'm sipping on, to be clear. I'm not really doing anything but sipping.
Love it. Love that for you.
40 proof, Frank. No, 80 proof.
Hey.
40% alcohol, 80 proof. There's a reason I'm sipping it. Yeah.
Indeed.
So I want to wake up tomorrow. So
indeed.
And with the head that I like. So anyway, Frank, I alluded to the fact that you are made of plastic, which you are not. You are made of flesh and bone, I assume. I don't know. I've never actually hugged you, so I'm not sure. You could be made of plastic.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go, Barbie.
Yeah. I'm very excited about that movie, by the way. I don't know if you saw the trailer to the Barbie movie.
I have seen it. It looks good. It looks fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So anyway, I saw this tweet online a while ago that it said, if you were an action figure, what two accessories do you come with? And I said, that's such a fun question. But instead of it just being, what do you come with now? I want to know, at different points in your life, what did you come with? What was your what were your items of choice? And so we'll go back and forth. I'll ask you, at a certain era, what does your action figure look like? What are they wearing? And what two accessories come with it? And we're going to do a small child. You can dictate the age of whatever that is. Middle school, high school, college, your 20s, and now. What are the things that come with it? So let's start with small kid. We'll go chronologically. Frank, you're a small child. What does your action figure look like? What are you wearing? What are you doing?
So I'm thinking around third grade-ish is sort of where my mind goes. I'm wearing probably a New York Yankees t-shirt or jersey, and jeans, and my accessories, because I grew up in the 90s and into the early 2000s when the Yankees were on a hot streak. They won so many World Series, 96, 98, 99, 2000, they were on a hot streak. Derek Jeter was the new hot thing, and he was exciting. It was an exciting time to be a Yankees fan. I got really into it. So I was sorry to everyone who likes every other team and hates the Yankees, which is everybody. But I'm sorry for winning so much. But I would have worn a Derek Jeter jersey probably, and my accessories, at that age, around that age, you would have found me carrying a Superman action figure in one hand, probably Superman the animated series.
It's important to be specific that way.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes. And pick your Beatles CD that I'd be holding in the other hand. At that age, let's say Beatles 1. Yeah, those would be the two things that I'd be carrying in my hands. Those defined my personality then and have really defined my personality throughout my entire life. But at that age, really it was a nascent love for those things. I almost said a Superman VHS.
Sure, that would have been good. I could see that.
Yeah, like a Fleischer Cartoons VHS. But no, I feel like the action figure, I had the animated series action figure. I had the one with him in his weird spacesuit too.
Mm-hmm.
From that show. But
I loved that. I loved his spacesuit. I freaking love
very cool spacesuit.
The spacesuit.
Weird, cool spacesuit.
Yep. He doesn't need the spacesuit. He only had it because it was a toy. But to me, it didn't matter because I liked the slightly depowered Superman that needed a spacesuit.
Yes.
That's fun. That's good. That's not a bad thing. I love it. It
just looked cool. It was like this weird Art Deco spacesuit. I liked it.
Yeah. I will see your third grade-ish age. I'll stick to that. I would have been wearing, I want to say, some kind of chino or corduroy or something like that. And the only reason I know that for sure is because I don't think I really owned a pair of jeans until I was in middle school. Like, for whatever reason, my parents just didn't dress us in jeans. And I remember specifically in fourth grade, there's like I went to a Catholic school, and there was a non-uniform day. And everybody was wearing jeans, and I wasn't. I was wearing like a windbreaker pants or something like that. And
I had those.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the really loud windbreaker pants. Yeah, and everybody was looking around, and somebody in my class asked me, like, "Oh, why aren't you wearing jeans?" Like, and I was like, "I don't think I have any." And they were, "What are you talking about? Everybody has a pair of jeans." And that was just a weird revelation to me that like people wore jeans. So anyway, but I'll go a little bit before that. So I'll say I was wearing some kind of chino t-shirt, most likely has a Power Ranger or Batman on it, more likely than anything. I had this really sweet blue Batman shirt where he was like angrily standing over two criminals in the street. It was like an intense, like, I don't know, 80s art, you know what I mean? Like that kind of that kind of thing. And to go in that theme, I am holding a Batman the Animated Series action figure, but specifically it's the Batman. Hold on, I actually looked it up. I used my one lookup for this because I needed the actual name. It's the Lightning Strike Batman with transforming cape glider. And it was Batman in a black suit, and it had all these white lightning bolts all over it. And the cape was this hard shell plastic that when it was closed, it was completely wrapped around him. Like his cape would kind of like drape over him, like cover his shoulders, cover the chest. But then it opened, and it was this glider parachute thing that like opened above his chest. And it was so cool. And I loved it because back then, those action figures, they had the really cheap cloth with just like the little ring, that like plastic ring that stuck around their neck, right? And you couldn't do anything with the cape because they were too short. They just kind of were like there. And so I loved that this hard plastic cape basically like allowed me to like create the image of Batman with his, you know, with the cape draped over his whole chest and shoulders and whatever else. And I loved it.
Wasn't a cloth goods cape, as they say. It was a hard plastic cape.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I'll text it to you so you can put it in the show notes. How's that?
Please.
And so there is so there's that. And at that age, I'm gonna say I'm also carrying around a Megazord, I think. Power Rangers Megazord. There was one Christmas we got like all the Power Rangers gear and, you know, all the different Megazord stuff that clipped and went together. I'm going to say that was definitely what I was carrying around. For sure.
Love that.
Yeah. Frank, your middle school self, what do you look like? What are you wearing and what are you carrying around?
Okay. Middle school, I am starting to like gel my hair, doing the whole flip thing.
Oh, sure.
Like
Yeah.
Flipping in the front. For those of you who are a little bit younger, it was like if you had bangs, you instead of them going down over your forehead, you would flip them upward. And you would gel your hair so there were like clear comb tooth marks in your hair because it was 1999 or 2000 and that was the thing. I'd be wearing the windbreaker pants you mentioned. Actually, were big for me in like 6th, 7th grade. and probably a t-shirt with like a North Face style like vest over, like a zip up vest over them. Like a very chunky link chain necklace.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. I really went through this phase. I don't know why I'm admitting this out loud and not in therapy, but I went through this phase where I really wanted to be liked by the cool kids. So I just thought if I dressed like them and talked like them, that I would somehow no longer be not like them. Turned out that didn't work. Didn't work so well.
Can you tell me how they talked? Can you give me an example?
I don't know. Just like, okay, I'm 12 now. I guess I'm going to swear more.
Oh, sure.
That kind of thing. I'm just like, yeah, I'll be cool. Sure. I like Green Day. I didn't really like Green Day back then. Sure.
I had that face. I know.
Yeah, you know, like sort of like I want to be cool. It worked for a minute, but you know, I had to sort of revert back to the mean and be like, no, this is not me. I'm putting on a character. But at that age, you would have found me reading the Harry Potter books. This was the age where I read Harry Potter books 1 through 4 in like a couple months.
Yep.
And then it was a few years until book 5 came out, and by the time book 5 came out, I was no longer in the Harry Potter phase, but I read 1 through 4 like real fast and was all like, okay, cool. If I was more online at that time and was aware of like forums and stuff, I probably would have been like on Harry Potter forums and chat rooms and whatever.
I didn't know you were that immersed into it.
I was for like I burned really hot for a very brief period of time,
sure,
like less than a year. But like I read all 4 of the first 4 books and was really like, okay, I'm really into the story right now. And then there was no new content for a while, so I found something else to get into. And then I by the time the 5th book came out, I was sort of on to something else.
Sure.
But yeah. So I'd be Harry Potter books, you know, under one arm, and probably like a lightsaber toy in the other hand, because the Star Wars prequels were coming out at that time, Tim.
Sure.
And it was the coolest thing happening. It was like, oh my God, you know, when I was back in, you know, small kid phase, the aforementioned 3rd grade, the Star Wars films were a thing of the past that like were just reissued in theaters, but it was old movies that you watched on VHS, or maybe you got to see them for the special editions in theaters. But now all of a sudden they were making new ones, and it was an exciting time. And so I was like Anakin's age when the Phantom Menace came out.
Right.
And,
right.
So like it was exciting. So yeah, I would have had like a lightsaber. I you know, around that time that I was trying to dress like the cool kids and stuff, I Halloween, one of those years, I went as a Jedi. Because that was the cool thing. Episode 2 had just come out, and like that was the cool thing. So Harry Potter books and a lightsaber. What say you? What was your middle school experience?
Middle school, I'd say that I'm wearing like basketball shorts and a t-shirt. Nothing special. I was not a stylish child then. That didn't
was this like the Michael Jordan era?
Yeah. Yes. Before was really the Michael Jordan era. I actually want to change. You remind me. I want to change my young child outfit. I was definitely wearing a Charlotte Hornets jacket.
Oh, everyone!
Like
oh my gosh,
jacket
Marissa.
with the hand and like a slip thing in the middle, and because everybody wore one. Yeah,
my wife Marissa definitely owns a Charlotte Hornets like crew neck sweatshirt from the like mid 90s.
I would get one now. That's how much that's ingrained in me. Where I'm like, I don't follow it at all. I'd still wear one. No.
She could sell that on Depop for a good amount of money, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let me see. So that's what I'm wearing. My accessories, I would say I'm also carrying Harry Potter books. I'm going to copy you on that. Because that was absolutely deep into Harry Potter at that age. And I'm going to say this is actually tough because there were a lot of things that I think I really enjoyed at that age. But I had this weird, really obsession with playing Jedi power battles. So I'm going to go Star Wars as well.
Oh my gosh, you just unlocked a memory. I haven't thought about that game in so long.
I know, right? But I loved Jedi power battles. I used to play with my friend Matt all the time. I didn't have a PlayStation, but he did. And he lived basically like a couple blocks away from me. So I would hop on my bike and I would go to his house and we'd play Jedi power battles. And he was the one that like really got me into Star Wars. Along with the prequels coming out.
Like,
again, along with the prequels coming out. Like it's a shame that it only has to be 2 accessories because I like also unlocked memories of like collecting the Pepsi cans with the image, like all the images on them. And I had tons of Star Wars Legos. The B-Wing and the Imperial Shuttle were my favorites. So like those were easy contenders to be there. And yeah, it's great stuff, like all around, like wonderful time. So I'd say that's what I looked like. That's what I was wearing anyway. And so it's Star Wars and Harry Potter. But I sense that there could be similar themes in our accessories, considering we're friends and share many interests. So obviously, I think our accessories would overlap a little bit. But that's good. That's very good. Frank, your high school self, anywhere in high school, 14 to 18, freshman through senior year.
Yeah.
Which year are you picking, and what do you look like?
Yeah. This was where, I would say that like present day Frank really started to emerge.
Sure.
A sapling of present day Frank. So by this time you would find me, wearing a lot of graphic tees and jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Graphic tees were, I wore a lot of graphic tees for a long time. Still kind of do, but I wore pretty much nothing but graphic tees at this time. A lot of like, sure, there was Superman, but like, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Sure.
Was a big thing that I like discovered at this time. And
they were around for a while, but graphic tees made like a weird resurgence in the early 2000s. And we were really at the cusp of that. I mean, I'm going to say I dress well when I like need to go out in public. I match. I like the belt matches the shoes. Things fit.
Sure. Yes,
whatever. I'm well put together. At home, I'm comfy, and I wear a lot of graphic tees. And I was actually just going through my T-shirt collection the other day because for a long time I didn't even wear T-shirts, and so like, and my wife, who loves being comfy, is like basically forced me to be comfortable again. Like, why are you still in your work clothes? Put on your pajamas, you fool. It's 4 o'clock.
Why are you wearing a belt on a Saturday morning?
Basically, that's basically. And so why don't you own a bathrobe? What the hell is wrong with you? Like, I'm getting you a bathrobe. So,
why does our daughter wear her bathrobe more than you do?
Right. So she loves that freaking bathrobe. And so, but I was going through and I was like, wow, I guess I'm into graphic tees again because I have a lot of them. Like a lot of them. And so graphic tees, graphic sweatshirts, like whatever. So anyway, so that's what you look like. What are your accessories?
Yeah. I am carrying my acoustic guitar.
Nice.
I started to really play the guitar at the end of middle school, but by high school I was really like, it was like kind of part of my identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my first electric guitar around that time too, but like, yeah, that's when I was really like, okay, I am a guitar player. And I got my first MP3 player in high school too. I really wanted an iPod, but they were so expensive.
Oh yes.
Right. But I was amazed at that time at the idea that someone was getting like a $400 Christmas present of an iPod. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Who gets a $400? What? I don't come from that kind of money. Like $400 for a Christmas present. If I got that kind of Christmas present, it would be the only present, first of all, and it would
for like the whole year.
Exactly. So, but I had a Creative Zen MP3 player. Creative is no one's heard of this. I mean, PC enthusiasts might remember the Creative was the brand that made the Sound Blaster sound card, but it was a
I had a Sound Blaster sound card. Wow, that just
there you go.
That just brought back a whole memory for me. Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It was Creative was the brand that made the Sound Blaster, and it was a Creative Nomad jukebox. Zen Xtra. It had too many names. But It was a cool MP3 player that was not an iPod. And it was very cool for the time for not being an iPod. And I loved that thing. I used it for years and years, and it was great. So yeah, my guitar and my MP3 player. I lived with earbuds in my head, and that was how I lived my life in high school.
Cool. I'm down with that. This is tough, because high school that's really where so many of your interests really start to solidify or blossom, and move in a few different directions, and you're trying things. And so, I think I'm wearing a pair of jeans, maybe some flip flops, and probably a button down. Actually, that was the era of like untucked button downs. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm removing that completely. I'm wearing my Blockbuster Video uniform. That's what I'm wearing.
Oh, of course you are. Yeah.
That's what I'm wearing. Yeah, I'm wearing my Blockbuster uniform. Navy blue polo shirt, khakis, sneakers, whatever. And so, because that's such a pivotal part of my life, I think. And it's not an accessory, but it is definitely a part of it. So I want to say that's what I'm wearing. And I've got a copy. I've got 2 CDs with me. Dane Cook's first stand-up album. A memory has unlocked in your brain. I know, right?
Yup.
Yeah, Dane Cook's first stand-up album, and a CD of, this is tough, but I'm going to say Jekyll and Hyde, the musical.
Ooh, the musical, yeah.
Loved Jekyll and Hyde, the musical. I listened to it all the time.
I actually, the only exposure I have to that musical is because I lived in the New York area, is TV commercials to, buy tickets for it to see it on Broadway. But I actually never listened to the soundtrack, never saw the show. I don't actually have any real exposure to it other than ads to enticing me to go see it.
Sure. Oh man, that's yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
wow.
Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde. I've seen it on the stage twice, actually. Now that you say that,
good for you. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen a local-ish production and professional production and a touring cast where the
nice.
One of the lead singers from Korn was Jekyll and Hyde.
What?
Yeah, I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he was pretty good. Actually, it wasn't terrible. But
was it Fred Durst? Is that Korn or is that Limp Bizkit? I don't remember.
That's Limp Bizkit, I think. Oh man, wow, that unlocked a memory too. Limp Bizkit. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, so I'm carrying those 2 CDs, Blockbuster uniform, and I'm gonna say this is tough. I'm gonna this is odd, but there was a Lord of the Rings video game for Fellowship of the Ring. I was a PC gamer. And I used to play that game all the time. Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. It was based on the book and not the movie. You get very odd experience because the movies were coming out, but like the rights to Fellowship is very odd in how it exists out in the world. So but I used to play it all the time. So I'm going to say it was those 2 CDs and that video game. Yeah. That was high school.
Nice.
Yeah, real good. Your college self, Frank, where we met each other. What are you? Our lives are now intersecting. So, what are you wearing, and what do you have?
So I'm definitely still wearing graphic tees, except now they're internet graphic tees, right? So it's like tfury.com.
Yeah.
And like tongue-in-cheek internet jokes and stuff. It's like subtle Star Wars reference. Instead of just like a Star Wars logo or whatever, now it's like the words Han shot first written in a Star Wars font or something, just sort of like a little, and that and jeans and like Converse sneakers. In college, this is, the more recent we get, the more I can like really picture in a much more like,
it's in your brain still,
like really crystallizes in my brain of like, oh, this is what I was about at that time. So I'm still listening to my MP3 player, it was at this time it was an iPod Touch or, but the things that were really like defining my existence at this time were, I would say under one arm, I've got my Lenovo laptop. My computer was like, was really important to me at this time. Like it still is, but like my laptop was like my outlet for my creativity, it was my window into the rest of the world. I lived, I commuted to college. And so I lived at my parents' house and I commuted to college, and my laptop was like my window to like pop culture and to the world. So I got my Lenovo laptop under one arm, and I debated the second thing, but I'm going to go with my podcast mic was the other thing.
Cool.
The other
accessory. Totally. The first
This is really when
mic.
I got into podcasting. I started podcasting technically in high school, but I really, got into it in like my first sort of quote unquote successful podcast, which is a stretch, but the first one that sort of got any kind of attention was in college. And I
talk about Dollhouse, right?
Yeah. Echo Alert, the Dollhouse podcast that our friend Andrew and I started together. Did that in college, and that was a really cool experience. So yeah, my podcast mic, and I did a lot of like, that's when I met a lot of my people who are still my friends today, like our friend Vactor and Goodman and Derek, and all these people who are podcast friends, fellow podcasters who I met through social media and through podcasting. I would do guest spots on their shows and that kind of thing. And so my podcast mic, my first podcast mic was really was my other accessory. That was my sort of ride or die. So yeah, my laptop, it was a Lenovo ThinkPad, and my podcast mic. Those were the two things that were really the thing that you could always pretty much find by my side. What about you? What was you were a couple years older than me.
Yep.
So like in college, what was your thing?
Well, I had, I guess, like my private things, and then I had the college thing, which I think, so I'm going to do a bit of both. So I'm wearing a pair of jeans, some slip-on black.
Finally, he got jeans.
Jeans. I'm wearing a pair of jeans, some slip-on black loafers, like dress shoes kind of thing. I am a t-shirt with a zip-up sweatshirt and a sport coat, like a corduroy sport coat or whatever. So that was kind of like my main. That was kind of like my main look. The layered t-shirt, sweatshirt, sport coat. That was kind of those were the three. Those were the three. Those were the three things. And so I actually remember my friend. My friend Jill was like, "You always look so nice. Like you're always you've always got the nice coat and the thing. Like it's so It's really nice. It's wonderful." I said, "Oh, thanks, Jill." I don't know why that has stuck with me over the years, but
I remember you looking unusually put together for someone our age.
Yeah. Well, not that I was ever not put together for a huge stretch of time, but my dad didn't take off his tie until he put his pajamas on. That's kind of how I grew up. Like he did the dishes in his tie. Like, and so like, it just like, I'm just as comfortable in my work clothes as I am in a sweatshirt. Like I can relax in all of it. And
that really, something just clicked for me because like whenever I think about your dad, I picture him in a bow tie.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, right? Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen him not in a bow tie.
You have to come to less formal events. Sometimes he does take it off if the room is too warm or something.
I feel like I've seen him in a bow tie at his house, though. Like,
sure. Absolutely.
Don't know if I've ever...
Yeah.
I mean, that's
if he was coming home
in a bow tie, but like...
That's like if he was coming home from work or something like that, he was going somewhere, but like my dad's general aesthetic is like a nice pair of khakis or jeans and a button up and now sneakers. He's in his 60s, but like before, like it wouldn't be before, but like it was like a weird, like you knew dad was doing yard work or he had to fix something if he was in a t-shirt. Like that's like, it was kind of the tell all. That's kind of how I grew up. I modeled that.
I was kind of hoping you'd be like, you know, he was doing yard work if he was in his corduroys. I was kind of hoping that
sometimes, he had work corduroys actually, like dressed down corduroys, stained, ripped, whatever. Yeah,
there you go.
So yeah, that to live up your expectation. So anyway, that's what I'm wearing. Got my pair of glasses. Obviously, I've been wearing glasses since the 6th grade. I've debated this for college, so there's one that I'm excited about, and it kind of started in college, but I'm going to save the accessory for my 20s.
Okay.
And so, no, you know what? I'm going to switch one out. I'm holding a pair of Comic-Con tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. I just think that was so part of our lives, junior and senior year of college. Like that was the only
wish
time
I thought of that, honestly.
Honestly, this is the only time we really saw each other. But like that continued all the way through my 20s. Yep. And so it would have been an easy accessory for either age. But I'll say it started there. And you know what? I'll go full nerd, even though that wasn't exactly who it makes it sound. I was way nerdier than I really was in college. But a stack of comics and some Comic-Con tickets. Nice. This is Beer with Geeks. And, you know, I had a lot of interest. I still do stuff that is like no relation to geeky stuff whatsoever. You know, whatever, you know, I'm a musician, like I could have toted around a piano or some music books, or that could have been a thing. Anything that I was studying also could have been something, anything like that. But all of that would have been fine. But I think I really started to read comics, like really started week by week going when I was in college. I went to the store that was 15 or so minutes away from the school. Got them every Wednesday. I'd read them, whatever. And that was just very influential into who I am still right now. So I'm going to say those are my two. That's college. Now, Frank, we're past our time. So, and I love this, but I think we still have our 20s and 30s to hit. And so I'm going to cut us off here. And I'm going to say I'll do our early 20s and our late 20s. Because I think makes us different people.
I agree.
And then we'll do our present. We'll do this again because this was a lot of fun. And so, Frank, tell the people where they can find us.
You can find us over at beerwithgeeks.com or thoughtbubbleaudio.com. That's where you can find this show and a bunch of our other shows and shows hosted by our friends. You can support us by subscribing to this podcast wherever you're listening to us right now, any app that you're listening to us in right now, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon, whatever. You can support us with your hard-earned cash at patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio. If you would like to give us your monetary support, and please email us at beerwithgeeks@gmail.com. Follow us at Beer with Geeks wherever you follow people. And I am Frank at ramblings.social on Mastodon, if that's your thing.
Cool. Frank, thank you for joining me as always. I loved this conversation.
This was fun.
Easily one of my favorites in a long time. So this was great. Thank you so much. Until next time, cheers.
Cheers.